Today on the podcast, we merge the general AFL chat and the round review into one, making room for the round preview. Today, we look through Ginnivan putting the Collingwood fans to sleep, the Swans lose another game to the Lions, and Keys puts Dons questioning their finals hopes. Now, Will and Keon, how's it going?
Good, that was actually pretty good.
That was unreal.
He chopped that up in about 3 minutes as well. So
Yeah, great to start off.
I think we're helping your
Why is it
your
you guys
dyslexic
are always-
ability. We're really helping you.
Yeah, you've come a long
You've
way.
grown.
From when you
You've really
started.
You guys are horrific. Anyway, how are you, lads?
Yeah, good.
Pretty good.
Great
What
week
you get
of
up
footy,
to?
I'd say.
It was a very good week of footy. I hope if that tells us what finals is going to be like. We got 5 more weeks left. And it's gonna be pretty
Some
good.
great finals matchup as well.
Oh yeah, and some big games to come ahead.
Yeah.
But before we get into that, how's everyone's weekend? Anyone got any funny stories? Line up the mood.
That, I know.
Oh, we've got the first of
you
your
already
one.
started.
I had the
Can we
That
just
is
point out?
ridiculous.
Normally we record at maybe 9 o'clock.
later.
We're
Come on.
recording. We're recording at 4:30 p.m. and he's already. You know what it is?
He's just bored of us.
It's
Talking.
not us. It's not. Yeah. It's
just
you're
from
just
talking.
tired of the
Yeah, I don't
podcast.
know. Oh, mate. It's just from talking. I don't know. It just happens. But, yeah, no. My weekend was fine. Didn't get up to too much.
I got an alright story.
All right, well, go
So-
ahead. Just interrupt. That's all right.
Alright, so I'm at Keon's footy. I'm watching. It's an early morning, and I go up and shut up. I go up, and the coach he comes
Oh,
up to
yeah.
me. He gives me a tap on the shoulder. He goes, "Mate, there's no one behind the goals getting the ball." So he's like, "Can you go up behind the ball and get the?" Oh yeah, nah, sure, it's fine. I'm watching. There's no point. So I go up behind, and the first point that's kicked, there's this little mud patch, and I mean a full-on mud patch, and I just don't realise it's there because it's behind me. So I'm just looking at the ball, and I go running for it. And I have 1 foot in the mud. I'm like, oh, there's mud. We're going to power through. Second foot. I'm like, maybe there's a lot more mud. Third one, shoe was fully in the mud. And then I take the next step, and the shoe's off, and I'm just hopping for the ball, and all the footy players are looking at me. and I was,
And you know the way he kicks the footy as well. It was like.
So you kicked the ball with 1 foot.
nah, another parent came and got the footy. No, actually, I
You didn't even let him get the footy.
No, I got the footy. Another parent came and got my shoe.
Was
it Davo?
Yeah, it was David.
Yeah, I thought so.
Poor bloke.
Anyway,
That's
so
unfortunate.
that's a
Yeah,
good
that was pretty
little-
fun. I saw him and I was like, oh, why is Sharky behind the goals in his Hawthorn scarf? And I saw him get one of the balls. I was like, oh, no.
You could just say, "This is my moment. Here we go."
I was like, oh, I'm helping to the team, contributing. Before that, they get me the tape. They were like, oh, can you take the tape back for the girls? I was like, oh, I'm a little errands boy today.
That bitch.
Anyway, so Crows Dons.
Not a fan of that one.
That was actually, you look at that game, right? Crows versus Essendon. You look at it and you go, all right, this is going to be a horrible Friday night game, especially with everything leading up to it as well. With all the Microsoft outages and everything going on, I'm freaking out because on a Friday at 7:30, I want to sit down and I want to watch a bit of footy. That's my thing. Normally go to Sharkies, watch a bit of footy. That's what happens. And I'm a bit scared now because I'm like, the footy might not be up. Anyway, it got up. I thought anyway, it was going to be a boring game. Whatever. Essendon might run over the top of the Crows, but we were probably given one of the best of the season.
Oh yeah, this honestly felt like a finals matchup, even though Adelaide aren't going to make finals, but they're really pushing for it. But this was just an unreal game. So many swings and fucking, I don't know
Swings are what, mate?
Swings,
twisties and twerbies. How about that?
twerbies,
I don't know.
lead changes.
Yeah, so, shit like that. But yeah, I thought it was unreal game. Like from Essendon coming out in that third quarter to pull back from a 37-point deficit and bring it back to a 20-point lead. And then Adelaide you could tell that entire fourth quarter they were just coming.
And they
coming.
did it without Dawson and Laird and Rankin.
Yeah.
And I mean, he doesn't play too much of a part, but as a leadership part, Tex Walker. So you could
Yeah, where is
say
Tex at the moment?
he was managed for that game.
Well, who needs Rankin when you've got his twin brother in Ben Keys?
Yeah, and I've always rated Keys. I think he's always been a good player, and he kind of got pushed out that midfield maybe about 2 years ago, and now he got put back in the midfield, obviously with Laird and Dawson going down, and I mean, he was able to just push forward, and no one really wanted to man him up. Kicks 5, technically 6, because I mean handballed that one to, who was it, Rochelle, who kicked the winner anyway. So just elite from him.
Just unreal game and unreal from the Crows. And now the Dons,
A lot of pressure.
jeez, they went from top 4 to maybe not even finals this year. So,
Yeah, well, that's this game changes my ladder prediction now because I had Essendon winning this. So now
I had
now-
Adelaide, didn't I?
You did.
Yeah.
So now Essendon fall out of the 8 for me.
Yeah, and now I think my ladder predictor looks pretty good.
Yours is.
Collingwood far out.
And you had the Dogs, and then Geelong
Yep.
finishing lower. I had Geelong
Yeah.
winning, so did all right. One thing I did want to point out with Essendon was, and why I think it hurt them come late in the game. So obviously we know Nick Cox plays on a wing, and he kicked, I think, what was it? He kicked the first 2 of the game or something. Harrison Jones, I think, kicked the first 2, but he finished with a couple goals at half
Kick 3,
time.
I think.
But I think he
Altogether.
had 2 or 3. It could have been all his goals in the first half. And as a winger, good to see that. But the thing I questioned in that fourth quarter, and especially come late when Crows were coming, as a winger, don't smile like that. It's that little smile. As a winger, you need to help out defensively. Offensively, yes, but you're also almost that 7th defender.
Yeah.
I don't reckon I saw Nick Cox go in that defense, I reckon, once. I've seen Dersma do it a couple times, so he does well. He breaks the packs open and he
You
crunches.
almost see Dersma more back than forward.
Yeah, but it's the fact that Nick Cox, that big body, he pushes so far forward. You just never see him in the back line. And I think that is a possibility on why that hurt Essendon so much, because they basically lost that bloke who goes into defence as an extra to help him out. And yeah, he may have hit the scoreboard a couple of times, but I think that's just something that they've got to look at and be wary of, because it may work offensively, but there are some problems defensively.
Yeah, 100%. Moving on from that one, we've got GWS and the Suns. And, GWS came out there and did what they were supposed to do. Get the 4 points against a team that can't play away from home.
I didn't watch that game, so I haven't got too much to say on it.
Yeah, Jesse Hogan in some unreal form as well, and Ben King falling away.
Falling away, or was it just an off day? Because he had 7 shots, six or 7 shots on goal, so it was like he still had the opportunities.
Yeah.
He struggled to convert.
Yeah, it just kind of seems like in the team that he plays, I feel like if he was playing for Carlton, he'd be in the same spot that Kerno was in, if not better. You know? It's hard.
He's still, second in the column.
Oh, yeah.
So it's like, he just, you have that off. I mean, Kerno had 3 and 7 the other week.
Yeah, it's true. Has Hogan gone above Ben King?
He might have, I'm not sure.
I think Hogan might have gone above him. So, Ben King, have a scroll down, Sharky, for me.
Ooh, what's going on here?
Have a look at the...
What are we looking at?
Ben King, 0 goals, 3. So
He had 7 shots on goal, though.
Yeah,
Um,
can't convert.
problem there. Why are you looking at me like that?
I don't know, just...
Yeah, I didn't get much, but looking at the stats, I mean, Sam Flanders just racks the ball up.
Oh, yeah.
Now, I'm assuming he played back in the midfield again, because that's where he's been moved. But holy moly, he has 43 touches, 24 handballs.
And finally...
And the problem I have is they're such from at least watching that St Kilda game in the last couple of weeks, they're just nothing good. Like, they're not offensive. They're just side to side, just a forward handball. It's nothing that breaks the game open, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, maybe I didn't get to watch too much of this game as well, but maybe in the midfield, probably a little bit more effective. Can't really have those side-to-side kicks, I guess, from the halfback that he's normally used to. 9 clearances, 550 metres gained, which is you would normally see more from a 43 disposal game. So,
well, we'll go back to that, Sharky. What did Lockie Whitfield have? Yeah, look at what Lockie Whitfield, 40 touches. He had the same amount of... He had 2 extra kicks, but 230-odd extra metres gained. Yeah. And I think right there, that probably...
And that's on 7 less clearances as well,
Yeah, so I think that's a tale of the story right there. one more thing you wanted to add?
Yeah, just Gold Coast aren't ready, I don't think.
Is Hogan above him now?
Yeah, he's 4 goals above him. So Ben King kicking nothing there and Hogan kicking 4 is the difference between those two. But yeah, Gold Coast have a lot to work on and Dimmer has to be absolutely fuming.
Well, yeah, what was it he said last time? Where
He said
I
we need to grow the fuck up as a club.
Well, they probably still need to grow up. I mean, Noah Anderson needs to learn how to sleep in a different bed, not his own bed. That is what most people say.
From Melbourne as well, it just makes no sense.
Anyway, that's those 2 games done. So now we're moving into Willy's Wonkers.
Alrighty, boys. We've got a pretty good one here if we move. Okay, so you didn't play it the first time, did you?
I clicked play, right? And it just kept loading.
Right. I thought I couldn't hear it. That's why.
All right, here, Willy's Wonkers.
Willie's Wonkers, here we are. Woohoo. Go to the... Yeah, so starting off, we had a bit of a Tom Lynch round this round, I would say, and it was just people could not find the big sticks. And starting off, we had the Sam Draper missing basically directly in front of goal. Oh, like a little bit to the left, but probably 10 metres out. Next up, you had Nate Caddy.
How much did they lose by?
Was it 4 points?
2 points.
Yeah,
there you go. There's a
something like
game right there.
Yeah, that's a game. And then another one, same team, different bloke, obviously youngster, kind of the horse, as some people call him.
You know.
Yeah, but obviously Nate Caddy, almost making him a name for himself as the bloke that also can't find the goals, turn into a bit of a Nick Watson. But he made the goals disappear as well, just like the Wizard normally does in the 4th quarter. Outside the foot, just didn't go anywhere where he wanted. And the Kruger in the first quarter just running at the goals, completely open, hits the post, just ridiculous. And Eddie Ford in the 4th quarter to cut it to, I think it was 10 points, just shanked it right in front. Like just a certain goal, not missing him. And then the last one was Guinea pumped up after the game and just swearing throughout the entire interview. Like at the start, he says "fuck." It's like, okay, you're a bit of adrenaline, that's fine. And then
he caught himself off. He knew that he messed up.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
went, oh, my bad.
Yeah, he goes, "Oh,
Can we
not a
restart?"
great way to start."
Yeah.
And then throughout the entire thing is just shit here, shit there. It's like, mate, there's kids watching at home. Hock tour ball, what's going on there? But yeah, those are my Willy Wonkers. I think Sharky's got one for me as well.
Oh, I got another one. I just got to say that we all know when Maynard took Guinea's head off with like the kind of fended up with the elbow.
Yeah.
The best part of that was Nick Watson coming in and flying it. The kid's like, how tall is he?
Like 170 centimeters.
And he's
Small, I
not.
think.
And Maynard's on the floor acting like someone's just completely ripped his head off.
Yeah, the funny thing is Maynard got fined for that. We'll get into that later, actually, but
Bit of
Nick
spoilers
Watson
for beforehand.
yeah.
I was talking to someone about it, and it was like Nick Watson could launch himself at anyone, and just
I think it was me.
Was it you?
Yeah, I
guys
think it was
talking about?
me.
And he could launch himself at whoever he wanted to do, like hit, and it's just like he's not going to get suspended or anything because he'll just bounce straight off of them. Like he's not doing any damage.
Well, to be fair, you've got Cozzy Pickett. He's not a very tall bloke.
Nah, but he
he's
looks like
bigger.
menacing.
Yeah,
and
I
scary,
think it's a
right?
projectile.
But
Come on.
like,
Yeah, he's an explosive. But yeah, there you have it. So we have 4 people just spraying the goals and someone swearing through an entire interview. So
Did you hear after the interview what they said?
what?
They were like, oh, I guess we can say the F word now.
Yeah,
If
finals.
if that F word means
Yeah,
finals,
yeah,
I just
yeah.
wanted to claw my ears off.
Oh, at least they're not saying what an awful performance from the Hawthorn Hawks like normal.
Like normal. Come on now. When was the last time they said that?
Oh, no,
probably
actually,
every game for the
I
past
want to
4
talk
years.
about. I want to talk about something. Actually, this might take not a bit of time, but it's just like just because Hawthorn started doing good, you've jumped back on the Hawthorn. Where have you been for the last 6 years?
No, listen, I've addressed this publicly in the media beforehand. I just didn't understand what was going on. Like,
You didn't watch them.
You
though.
didn't care because you
didn't
guys were
care.
shit.
They
no,
were
but I
losing.
started watching this year, right, from the start.
Yeah.
So then and it's just Maybe it's me. Maybe
Not
they just
really.
need
If
me.
you started watching from the start, you went 0-6.
Yeah, maybe they weren't used to me watching.
And, another funny thing is you're on the exact same amount of points as Melbourne, and Melbourne are apparently the biggest shit show in the AFL, and Hawthorn are a top 4 side.
Mate,
So
it's
if
coming.
I don't care if you're 8-2 in the last 10, it's all about the points, and you're on the same amount of points as Melbourne.
It's coming. Anyway, we might as well just go straight into the Hawks Pies one then.
Yeah.
What do you
love
guys
this.
think about it? Because I know.
Well, I thought I tipped Hawthorn. I don't remember tipping the Pies.
I'm almost sure you did tip Hawthorn.
I think I was gonna have a look back at my tips because I also thought I
run
tipped
it back.
Adelaide.
You did tip-
over,
you did tip
No.
I definitely
You
tipped.
tipped Adelaide.
I tipped Adelaide over.
You definitely tipped Hawthorn. I was going through them today.
Yeah, but you
said-
put
you
I
said
tipped Collingwood.
Oh, well, no, I just no because that's I submitted it. That's when you gave me the tips beforehand, and then we did the
Yeah, you
round
changed
preview.
your
and
tips,
you
actually.
changed.
Yeah,
did.
look,
No. I'm actually with Sharky now. You changed your tips in the recording. We went through our tips beforehand and you changed them.
Yeah,
but I had the Crows. I kept the Crows.
yeah.
No,
You don't-
originally
I
you
haven't
no.
posted
I,
in between that.
no, I can tell you. I
Yeah,
know
you
exactly
explain.
what has happened. Right? We before we recorded, we said our tips. You went with Essendon. He was sharing his screen. He edited it. He changed it to Crows when you said your first one. He obviously hasn't changed it to Pies, but he already posted the tips because he posted the tips early, and during the recording you changed it.
Right.
So it's a bit iffy here. Do we count it from when he
my
changed it
actual
from when they were
tips
posted?
are 7 out of 8, and the one I got wrong are the Tigers. So basically, a
You're
perfect
spoiling
round.
it, Will.
Huh?
That's a little. That's for later. You're spoiling
Look.
it.
I'm a proud man, but I
Anyway,
don't
let's-
think I tipped the Pies, but that's all right.
You didn't tip the Pies
But then on the Instagram,
because you did at the start. You did on the
I
first.
realize you've posted it early, so
Yeah.
it's
Anyway, let's.
so
we'll talk about
Hawks
tips later.
Pies, great game. I didn't know, but I had a feeling that the small forwards were going to come out and absolutely dominate this game. Obviously, Connor McDonald, Dylan Moore not kicking a goal, but still
27 touches.
impacting the game immensely. Ginnivan unreal, and just Collingwood not in it at any point of the game.
It was, I don't even know, an utter disappointment, I guess you could even say, from Collingwood. Like 10 goals to 1 at one stage. Like they made it look a bit nicer, but the game was already over by then, so it didn't really matter. But like, it's been a while since we've seen Collingwood get embarrassed by that much in a wet day. I mean, Dacos didn't even have to be tagged to not even have that much. I think he still almost had 30 touches, but
Well,
like.
Yeah, I've got something I want to say here is they kicked 20 goals in the wet.
Mm-hmm.
In proper wet conditions, they kicked 20 goals and won by 66 points. Can we have a look at Richmond versus Hawthorn? How much did Richmond lose by in the end of it? Close to 40 points, I would say.
While we wait on that, the one thing I did want to add was
maybe after Adelaide. So round 14. Keep going, Cam.
doesn't want to listen to what he's saying.
Yeah, so we lost by 48 points to the Hawks in completely dry conditions where we were very obviously way, way worse. Obviously 18th side on the ladder. Dusty's 300th did not show up at all, and we lost by 48 points in the dry. And Collingwood lost by 66 points with an extremely wet day and let them score 133 points. So some big red flags for the Collingwood Football Club. And I almost think that Richmond might knock them off next week. Hate to be biased, but the way they're looking,
All right, just calm down.
the way we're looking, it's on. It's on.
The one thing I did want to add is, like you said, the small forwards. I think
The
so.
Wizard.
Sharky would know this because he did what?
Notice
The
how
Wizard.
I didn't name the Wizard.
Yeah,
when
I
he was
know.
talking
You
about
were
the
trying to
small
like dance
forwards.
around him. You know they call themselves the mosquitoes down forward. They just have so many weird things going on there. I do not know.
So
how they
Sharky wouldn't know this because he doesn't watch football. But he didn't follow Hawthorn back in the day, only this year. But Clarko invented the forward pass handball, right? Like that was his thing. That's what made Hawthorn so good, right? Back when they did their three-peat, he changed the game with the forward handball, and then teams started copying it like Richmond, and then they went on to win grand finals and whatnot. Now, Sam Mitchell has looked at what GWS has done. This is what I think. He's gone, oh, they've got the tsunami, right? And he's almost copy and pasted that into his team. He's gone and got a bunch of small forwards, just blokes that, not even small, just basically wingmen that just run up and down the ground and will just work their defender out. Like, Quainer, like, who's Quainer supposed to play on? Because he can't run with McDonald. He can't run with, like, they've literally just got a bunch of these blokes who just run up and down the ground. 13 goals from their small forwards, another 2 from D'Ambrosio. Like, domination. And I think that this is the new thing. That these blokes that just run up and down the ground and just go get the ball for you. And the other thing I wanted to say was Darcy Moore got absolutely obliterated by Marbiel Chol in the wet. Didn't kick straight. He still finished with 2 goals. He's 2 goals, 3, and they had to move Darcy Moore into the ruck. So
I will say,
there's nothing to say. You can't protect him here.
Marbiel Chol only kicked those 2 goals in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, but still, he was having a rip. Like,
don't get me wrong, he was having a good game, but he wasn't affecting the scoreboard. It was a wet game, though. To be fair,
I don't know about that. I think he was very much helping with the scoreboard.
Was in himself.
Well, the small forwards can't kick all those goals to bring if the ball doesn't come to ground.
He had great...
I think Guinea's first one was Chol going for it, and then Chol kind of like crumbed it down into Guinea, and then
so kind of like Samson Ryan.
Who?
Nah, for real.
Samson Ryan.
Who's that?
You're just actually saying you've got no ball knowledge there.
Got no ball knowledge.
No ball knowledge.
I don't watch Richmond on Sundays. Actually, no, Sunday nights, actually.
We're acting like the Saints aren't much better, all right? We're both in the bin.
Anyway, let's wrap this one off.
One more thing I didn't want to say about Guinea was... So, he left Collingwood, right? And then, he went on the news or a podcast, whatever, and said, when he had his exit meeting, Craig McRae said, like, we have no respect for you. Obviously, he went to the races before the grand final. He did, like, it was frowned upon, but they won the grand final, and they were still hating on him. When his contract came up and there was rumours about him going to Hawthorn, he said no one messaged him and no one said, we want you to stay or tried to make him stay. But the Hawthorn boys started messaging him and everything. Whatnot. Showed there was no respect.
Just adding on that, did you hear about what like Sam Mitchell did to him to like get him to come to the club?
The messages and the phone calls.
Oh, you like called him up and said like, sorry.
Getting there, he's just cutting into me. Oh. So all the Hawthorn boys, as I was about to say, they start messaging him. They start what? They start messaging him. He was saying he was getting calls from Sam Mitchell. Said CJ was calling him, and then when he got there, they all got around each other. He's got his handshakes with CJ and all that. And then we come out on Saturday, and again, obviously, the respect that Collingwood showed that man was very little, not even, no respect, because he went out there and had the best game he's ever had, and then went down in the fourth quarter and basically put them to sleep as he did in the goal square. And I loved it because it was just, you felt that, he was quite upset that Collingwood obviously got rid of him. No one spoke to him. He said how happy he was to be at Hawthorn. I think just for him to shove him back in their face. And I just posed the question, was Collingwood just, I don't know, like, is it too much of a, follow the rules type of club? Is Craig McRae trying to be, still trying to be too much of a, what?
I was just going to, you keep going.
Well, you put your hand up. So what would you like to say?
I was just going to say that you haven't finished off everything I was going to say. I was saying Sam Mitchell's calling up and being like, we want your personality. We want a bit of that arrogance. Mm-hmm. We want that attitude that you have. And we're not going to suppress you. And we're going to let you be yourself. And you can go do what you want. As long as you're playing good football, we want you there.
So it's just a good coach.
Well, that's the crazy thing.
It's a modern day coach.
Isn't it great that I've just added this comment and...
we were going, and then now you've just interrupted again and stopped the conversation.
The crazy thing is that, Sam Mitchell wasn't like that player. Like, if people at Hawthorn were like that when he was there, no chance would they be playing. He would have just been like, Clarko, get rid of them. These guys are cunts. He would have hated them.
He's the only. I genuinely think he'd be one of the only coaches that understands modern day how that works. Because every old journalist and every old coach and player has their opinion. Oh, this is shit for the game. This bloke's thinks he's the best. And no, it's just confidence. And it puts fear into other players. He goes, this guy's dangerous. This guy's good.
Yeah.
Because every time they walk onto the field, they're thinking, Ginnivan's out there going, I'm better than this player. I've got that confidence. I've got that arrogance. I know the blokes around me think they're better than these blokes.
Yeah.
And it's almost like an illusion into making them so good because no one saw... Like, they went 0-6, don't forget, at the start of the year. Like, this was red flags at the start of the year, but to come out and show that confidence
And
up.
yeah, even as you said, people saying, they're going on too much and, like focus on football. They're beating teams. If they were losing teams and, Guinea kicks a goal and they're down 50 and he does his celebrations, why not? Then you're allowed to say that. But they're playing good football, so it's like...
And that's where the conversation of Nick Watson comes up as well, when he's shushing the crowds down by 50 at JMHBA. So that I feel like they do understand there's levels to it. Obviously, we didn't see that much media attention from them when they lost that game to Geelong because I feel like Nick Watson was the only one that probably did it.
Yep.
Because obviously they knew how to... And that will come with Nick Watson. Obviously, he's very excited. He's been copping a lot.
He's been doing well.
Yeah, and he's been copping a lot, so I guess he feels like he has something to prove and something to say every time that he does do something good. So you'll have to say it, though.
Alrighty. Then on to the Saints versus the Eagles. I was at the game and it was... Honestly, it was a pretty good game to watch in the end. I mean...
This is Saturday, Arvo.
Yeah, early Saturday. Tim Membry wound back the clock. And he said, Tom Barrass, I know that you're a good player, but let me raise you to another level. And the crowd, when Tim Membry went off the ground in that fourth quarter, about 10 minutes to go, he had kicked 5, his PB was 6. The whole crowd, there was this lull when we saw him run off the ground. There was no booing or anything, but, everyone got upset. He stayed on the bench for about 6 minutes. He made himself back on for about 2 minutes and then came back off again. But... yeah, I mean, there's not too much to really talk about here. Oscar Allen, the poor bloke, got moved to the back line again. And I don't know, they just got ripped apart in that second half.
And I'm starting to think to myself, well, maybe Simpson wasn't the problem,
Yeah,
It's when I'm not seeing anything from this West Coast team, and it's giving me flashbacks to last year. It's giving me flashbacks to COVID, and it's making me think all these players that I was seeing on earlier in the year, thinking that they were great potential players, now switching my mind back to get rid of everyone and rebuild.
Well, Harley Reid had a couple moments, but again, there was nothing of tearing the game apart. He was quite quiet. Ended, I think, with the 20 maybe touches I think he had in the end.
I do feel like
he's kind of been dropping off a bit recently. I mean, like I said, he had some moments, but there was nothing too good. There was West Coast players supporters behind me, and they I think they knew that they weren't going to be doing too well. And it was like in that second half, every time Harley Reid got the ball, it was just like, do something good with it, please. Like they just wanted to see some sort of highlight.
That's the thing. I feel like their team lacks that spark, and I feel like genuinely their only spark is Harley Reid, and the only way that they can get up and get confident to a team like Hawthorn is by basically. Sorry, I don't know what I'm doing there. The only team that is by Harley Reid having a great game. But then we don't know if Harley Reid is able to always have a great game.
Yeah.
And when he's not, there is not a single other player out there that has that X factor, or maybe Liam Ryan, but even then he feeds off another X factor player.
Yeah, I was just watching the game and it was just, you want someone to do something. Jaden Hunt was racking up in the defensive half. But the other thing was, did either of you boys watch the game?
No, I didn't get to. I was playing.
It was like, in that fourth quarter, they just kept kicking it laterally. Like, they were literally 15 metres away from our goal, and they'd do a kick out, and then they'd kick the ball for about 5 minutes to each other, then leave the 50, and the whole crowd was getting so angry. Because, like, St Kilda's just protecting themselves down the line, and then after about maybe 15 kicks, West Coast would have to go down the line, and then Rowan Marshall marked it, and then we get a goal. It was just... I just haven't seen a team in a while, like since I probably, like you said, COVID, that they were just in shambles. Like they needed someone that like McGovern, right? That was just like, just follow me. Like there was no one that was like, I'll put you on the back. But I mean, we lost Liam Henry now for the year as well. He's done.
Yep.
Wouldn't count us out for finals though. Still looking pretty good for that. I think
Is
6.
that even
Did you say count us out for finals?
Don't count us out. Yes, it is still possible.
What's your matchups? Let's have a look. You've got
Essendon this week.
I see, but now I don't want either of you to win. Can that be a draw? Up. Oh yeah, sure. Blank
What's
screen.
going on? All right, yeah. So we got Essendon, Brisbane at Marvel, and we got Richmond, Geelong at Marvel, and then Carlton. See, the thing is,
you've only got one win, and that's against Essendon.
that's not true at all.
Fine. You've only got one win, and it's Richmond.
The thing is, Ross Lyon came out and said he is excited to beat the Grinch. He said he wants to beat the Grinch. He said he wants St Kilda to play the biggest part in making who plays the finals. We play Brisbane. If we can somehow beat Brisbane, they may not make top 4. Go down again?
Did you just not play Brisbane? Am I crazy?
No.
No.
Brisbane.
We played them a while ago. Richmond doesn't matter. Geelong as well. If we beat Geelong, they may not play finals. And then it's just good if you can beat Carlton.
Okay, there are 2 games there that you can win. Oh, we're not counting the Richmond one. So you'll beat Richmond, right?
We can beat Essendon. We can beat Richmond.
That's
can
what I'm saying.
beat Geelong.
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying there is 2 games that you can win apart from Richmond, and that's Geelong and Essendon. You're going to get slammed by Carlton, and you're going to get slammed by Brisbane.
I don't think we'll get slammed by Carlton. We match up well to them.
They don't play very good at Marvel, to be fair.
And we match up well. And if the boys all of a sudden, if we win those 4 games left, I'm just saying, don't count us out. I actually made a bet with someone that if we make finals, he has to go and...
Can I guess who it is?
Who?
Is it Lockie?
No.
Oh, it just sounds like something Lockie.
Yeah. He has to go onto Punt Road and clean, squidgy...
Chris?
No, you don't know.
Who? Do I not know them?
No.
Oh.
Anyways,
You have
Could have
to...
said that
but
from the start.
this is not like a.
That's why I didn't mention who the person was.
Yeah.
I just said I made a bet.
This is not a easy run home. It would be different if you had like the Suns.
If GWS
and, like,
did it last year, we can do it.
I just don't think so. You guys aren't the same team as GWS last year.
Okay, if we beat Adelaide the other week, would you count us in for a chance?
Did you lose to Adelaide?
We lost to Adelaide the other week.
How many points are you on? Let me see the ladder. How many games out of the 8 are you?
3, I think. We
We
can technically still make top 4.
I would, but that isn't like.
I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm just saying it's a possibility.
Yeah, well,
and we can play a big part in who makes the finals.
I agree with that. I very much agree with that,
Yeah.
and I feel like Essendon's a very winnable game, and Geelong is a very winnable game. But none of those games are games that I look at and go, okay, I think the Saints will win that game. Whereas if you were playing like a Melbourne, a Suns, Tigers, and then like Port, I feel like you could win 3, if not all 4 of those games.
We'll come back to it in a couple of weeks.
All right, I'm excited.
We're only 3 wins out. Our percentages, we're 2% different of what Essendon has.
If you can go down, Sharky. Down to where Saints are, where the people were talking about. So yeah.
The crazy thing also is the fact that we beat West Coast by 70 points and they're below it, like right below us. That just shows you the difference.
Oh yeah.
Like
But,
throughout the whole season, we've been 35 goals off of other teams in the top 8, and then for West Coast to be 10 goals off of us.
You're the last
is
team
like-
to have odds to win the premiership.
Get on it, $500. What jeez.
Well, yeah. I reckon I would be more believing of this if you had beaten Adelaide.
Yeah. Anyway, moving on.
Imagine you won all 3 of those games, but Richmond. Yeah.
Moving on into Kiz's takes to the bank. Alrighty, so last week we had every home team to win, and well, it failed at its first leg. Essendon decided to throw the bag in, and I don't think I've ever supported them as much as I supported them on Friday night. I really wanted them to win.
It felt really uncomfortable, you wanting them to win.
I really wanted them to win. And then the Giants and the Saints and the Hawks went on a good run. I'm like, oh my God, like, we're looking good. And I'm like, Port over Richmond, that'll happen. I'm like, surely Geelong wins. Geelong doesn't win. Messes us up anyway. So we went 7 from 9. Did all right, but could have done better. Anyway, moving on to this week. So another one I wanted to point out. I said a while ago, I don't know when, I think it was the first time we ever went in person, not here, at my house. I said Collingwood will not make the finals. If anyone remembers that.
I think I do remember you saying
that. So that one's looking pretty good at the moment. And that was, I think, back when they were like 6
I think that's when they were like, they had that bad stint at the start, and then they were kind of on the upper rise, and you were like, they're not making it.
I'm pretty happy with that one if it continues. My first one is, I reckon we will not have a Melbourne team in the grand final this year. We're 2 interstate teams.
Wow.
No. Oh, you're just writing it down. Right. I don't know. I thought you were right. So
not gonna happen or something like that.
So yeah, I don't reckon there'll be a Melbourne team in the grand final. And the other thing, just very quickly, we'll probably talk about them. Actually, I'll leave it for when we talk about them later. And the next one is pull up the fixture. Gold Coast to play Brisbane. They're playing at home, Gold Coast, so we know that statistically they'll win. But I reckon that they will beat Brisbane.
I agree.
And no Harris Andrews. And I mean, Noah Anderson, he wakes up in his own bed and he'll take it to Lachie Neale. And I think that it will be a very good win for Gold Coast. Because, I mean, they're playing at home. Statistically, they win and they play really well there. No Harris Andrews. I'm just repeating myself. So I think it'll be pretty good.
I agree with this. I think that they're going to be on my tips this week as well.
Yep.
So moving on, talking about the Lions versus the Swans. Now, this was just a prelim game almost, like just unreal. Such a great watch. Genuinely edge on the seat.
Mm-hmm.
Queensland team and a New South Wales team, and I was on the tip of my toes, and I don't go for either of them, and I was like...
So you're on the tip of your toes and edge of your seat?
I was on both, mate. Tip of the toes and the edge of the seat. Bit of a this.
Shakes.
I'm going like this, and then Archie sealer, just absolute sealer.
Oh, Hugh McCluggage. Yeah, about that. He just said, boys, jump on
that goal was ridiculous.
Which was the first one or the second one?
The one where he's literally snapped it and there's someone in the goal square as well.
He bent it around the post with Malikan coming in, and I was like, surely that was touch, and no one appealed. I was like, no way.
Yeah, just the fact that, like... Because normally those ones, you dribble it, and then you would go, okay, Melican takes that on the line. Because Melican can't do anything better there.
It was just it was an elite kick, and then just to kick it out of the midfield as well.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know, it was such a weird game, though.
Yeah, well,
it wasn't one of those ones where it was, goal for Sydney, goal for Brisbane. Brisbane came out hard.
Yep.
Then Sydney came.
Yep.
And Sydney had that lead, and then Brisbane just slowly. I think it was a really hard fought out win game from Swan.
Very much,
Sydney.
yeah.
They played well, losing Papley, Rampy, Rowbottom did well to play out the whole game. So I mean,
Hayward as well did really good to play out the rest.
I meant Hayward, not Rowbottom. So yeah, I think they did well. I mean, it does pose a question that I was going to talk about later, but we'll talk about it now. Premiership teams, right? I feel like you need 3 match-winning midfielders, right? And we saw that, Neale gets tagged, has an off day. Dunkley plays a bit of a defensive role in Heaney.
Yep.
So Hugh McCluggage is the one who stands up.
Yeah.
Sydney, Heaney, Errol, Chad. Now they bring back Park. So they've got a few people. You look at Fremantle as well. So I feel like I look at GWS, right? And I just go, do they have... if you shut down Tom Green, who's going to stand up? At the moment, Kanilu, Kelly are injured.
Yeah, that's where I feel like it's different.
So it's like, I feel like you got to have 2 or 3 players that you don't rely on the same one.
I definitely agree. One where the other team thinks, well, if we take this player, it's not going to matter because this player will stand up.
Especially against, as we'll talk about, Geelong versus the Dogs, where Bont has an all right game, but Ed Richards and Treloar stand up. But yeah, so I just think, teams, I think that's something you got to look at. And yeah, you just got to have players who one might get shut down and the other one can stand up. And another good point is Hawthorn. They were struggling when they didn't have Will Day, but now that they've got Will Day, they're doing better because there's more powerhouse. But yeah, really good game to watch. I think it was pretty good.
Yeah, unreal watch. Like that entire last quarter was just crazy. But yeah, that was definitely something that we'll be expecting in September to happen. And if that was a grand final, I would honestly not even be that angry. It'd be an unreal watch.
And then the other thing I just wanted to speak about very quickly was, so Sydney obviously got 3 injuries from that game. Rampy, Haywood, Papley. They've already lost Rowbottom. They've lost whoever they lost. They lost someone else. Callum Mills to soreness. So they've only played 30 players this year, right? So they've played the least amount of players. Essendon have played the 33. WS have played 33. Brisbane have played the 37. So they've played 7 extra players. That's 7 players who are used to playing football, right? So come finals time, you lose an injury, you lose someone. You look at Sydney now. They're bringing in blokes who haven't played any games this year. Yeah. So I wouldn't be surprised if Sydney slowly start to drop off, solely off the fact that their list and their skill of their players are going to drop off because they haven't had any AFL time. Whereas Brisbane, they've got 24 players. They've got 13 blokes sitting there in the VFL who have played a game of football, whereas Sydney's only got the 6.
That's true. I will say though, Chad Warner's brother was unreal.
He was good. The sub came in and he kicked a good goal. But yeah, so that's just something, if Sydney start to decline, I think that could be a big reason. And Brisbane are the only team in the top 10 most players played who were in the 8. Carlton sit 10th. Apart from that, Brisbane in the top 9, and everyone else who's played more players are Richmond, Adelaide, North Melbourne, West Coast.
Yep.
And now into Will's Where's Your Wallet, which I think there was a bit of money there this week.
Oh no. Alrighty, Will's.
Can we just quickly address the Alnos? I just want to say that there's nothing wrong with me clicking the button. It's the computer's fault today.
So you didn't want to do a test run of the buttons before you
It's
started?
slow because we're in person and
All right. If
press it again.
you knew that they were going to be slow, why wouldn't you press it early then?
If you press it
Because
again,
what happens if it magically fixes and it cuts off Will? Let's think about that one.
if you press it now, will it lag again?
Oh,
so it's you.
So if you had pre-pressed those buttons, I'm sure you would have been fine. Are you happy you addressed that?
No.
Anyways, moving into the Will's Where's Your Wallets of this week. And I've got some funny ones. Obviously, we talk about the careless conduct with the umpire. Seems like a, ongoing issue with the AFL players. I'm starting to think they just punch them up after the games and they're just getting fined for it. So we're starting off. Tom Papley cops $5,000 for careless conduct with an umpire. So he's copped $5,000 and he's got injured on the same bloody day. Poor bloke. $5,000 is probably the biggest we've seen. Earlier play will probably be 3-7. And then 5 hit the umpire. He copped another fine. Neil Bullen hit the umpire.
Neil Bullen gave away a free kick.
Yeah, and hit the umpire.
It was a free kick again. The umpire was because now the umpire goes leave space for me. He threw it up, and then Neil Bullen just ran straight into him.
Yeah, so he's copped a fine for that, and so just hilarious that we've seen probably close to $15,000 in hitting the umpire fees. So add it to a new bill on your on your expenses. Seriously,
tax
with the
tax
amount,
void.
Yeah,
the AFL's going through budgeting and it's going, well, what we're going to do here?
The
Got to pay them a bit extra in case they hit the umps.
That's what I'm thinking. Is the funny thing is that those umpires wouldn't get paid a
Surely
cent of anything.
if the umpire gets hit, surely they get the money.
Well, that $5,000 is probably like their yearly salary. Seriously, Well, it's ridiculous on part-time salaries. Anyways, next up is the funny one that I was talking about before. Maynard, $4,000 for hitting Guinea and then crying after Nick Watson hit him. So that was hilarious. You got embarrassed, gave away a free kick, copped $4,000 and got hit by the Wiz. So shit day, lost by 60 points.
And he had a horrible day as well. He didn't play well at all.
Yeah, nowhere near. And he tried ripping into Guinea the entire time. It's like, just get off him. And then next up is the probably the best this year, I would say. And that is Butters fined twice for a hit against Trezzies and someone else against the Tigers. And now he is the most fined player in AFL history at 23 years old.
Yeah, that's at 23. He's still got like at least 10 years left in him.
And the person who's second place is Toby Green. I'm pretty sure Toby Green's played over 100 games more than Butters. So just ridiculous statistics there. He's got 100 games he'll probably hit $100,000 before.
Well, it's crazy that he
Before
does
he
all this, but
retires.
somehow just doesn't get suspended.
They must be just like the most minor things.
Whatever they are, I reckon he might because if he continues doing these, right, he might become like the first player to get the most random suspension just because he's done it like 6 times. Like he could be the first player to get suspended because he's hit an umpire just because he's done it so many times.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. The second he does a bad bump or a bad tackle, he's getting a week just because of all his history against absolutely everyone in the AFL. So those were the Willy's Wonkers for the week. I hope you enjoyed. I thoroughly enjoyed it as well. Moving on now, we've got the Cats and the Dogs game, and I love this game because I picked the Dogs, and I said that on the podcast. I thought that the Dogs were in good form, and I thought they were going to beat the Cats, and they did. So, what did you think of this game, Karen?
Watched the majority of it with Sharky, and what I think was one of the biggest factors was the backline from the Bulldogs. I mean, Buku and Rory Lobb. What a move Rory Lobb's been. I mean, he's the second best rated defender in the league at the moment since he's gone back there. He's taking intercept mark after intercept mark. Buku was taking a bunch of intercept marks. Jeremy Cameron didn't take a mark inside 50 all game. He took 1 mark for the game. He just could not get into it at all. And I think it was a mindset thing, being that the fact that Geelong took out, I think it was Shannon Neal just before the game started and brought in a small.
Yep.
And we know how tall the Dogs are, and they still went away with the win.
Yep. And just, you have a look at their midfielders. Just
Utter domination.
Unreal performance, 31-3 from Treloar. And honestly, with the year that Treloar's had, you hope that he's anywhere close to an All-Australian almost.
Has to be.
Just been averaging, I think, probably 30 plus. He's been hitting the scoreboard as well.
Ever since we said it as well.
Oh, mate.
Since we said it, he's hit the scoreboard. He's been doing it every week.
And it's just everywhere the ball is, if Treloar is not getting it, he's right next to it. So even when he's not getting it, it feels like he's always there. Back line, forward line. It could be in the deepest pocket, and just for no reason, there's Treloar getting a 1-2. It's like, what is going on? But yeah, just an overall great performance from the Bulldogs, and a scary team to play against, I'd say.
Ed Richards 29-2 as well, and it was just the first time that I had watched a Bulldogs team play, and it wasn't Bont that had to do the grunt work. It was just there was other people to help him, and it wasn't just Treloar who was helping him. It was Ed Richards, and I mean, Libba had a quiet game for himself as well. He hadn't seen too much, and I think he's slowly falling out of that midfield, and it's good. He's getting older, and Ed Richards is coming in, and it's just someone else that they don't have. It doesn't have to be those three. It's now Ed Richards as well.
Also, 200 and whatever centimeters. Sam Darcy having 11 tackles.
Mm-hmm.
What the fuck?
Did not see that actually.
How do you get that close to the ground?
Or just forward pressure.
11 tackles. That is ridiculous work. That's almost some Conan Brown stats.
Oh yeah, 24.
24 tackles, 27 touches, but yeah, just unreal from the whole Dogs crew, and I'm very happy with my tips. So moving on to this one, this was the Port versus the Tigers. Did you catch any of that game?
I did not. I was watching the other game, the more entertaining game, which this one at stages looked like it was quite entertaining because I was watching, the little right-hand corner of where it says the score. I was watching it, and, Port would kick a goal, then Richmond would kick a goal, then Port would kick a goal, and then Richmond would kick. It was just going goal for goal, and I almost got to the point where I was about to turn it on. I was like, no, I can't do it.
Well, we started off very well. I think we kicked the first 2 goals of the game.
You did.
And then I think they kicked the next 4.
Yeah, they kicked quite a few.
But then, there was never a point until the 4th quarter that we were sticking around. And that's not normally what you see from an 18th. You didn't see that from West Coast on the weekend.
Yeah.
And for most of the season last season, you didn't see that from North Melbourne. So I was really proud until the last quarter. Obviously, with a young team, you're never going to keep up.
Yeah.
You can't keep up against a team that should be in the top 6 teams. So in Adelaide, Port versus Tigers, I just thought that we had a good performance. And I saw in the news Kane Corns giving Adam Uze shit for saying that he's proud of how we're doing for 3 quarters, and I just completely disagree because Richmond fans have won enough. We're happy with the rebuild. We're happy that these boys are showing effort and putting in, but Kane Corns thinks that it's the worst thing ever and saying how we're 18th. We're the most injured team in the AFL. We're a brand new team. Like, our average games played is just nothing. We've got people that are 35 years old.
You've played the most players.
From the dynasty days,
Played 41 players. No one else has played 40 players or more.
Yeah, it's... Kane Corns doesn't realise that Richmond fans genuinely don't mind as long as we're putting in effort, as long as we can actually watch the games.
I was speaking to a Richmond fan, actually, and he was saying... It was kind of almost the opposite to what you said a couple of weeks ago, but he was saying that he wants them to play like how they played against Port, really be in it for the majority of the game, but still lose it because it gives you the confidence that you're building, but even though you're losing, you're going to get the draft picks.
Yeah, I like that one as well. I would like another win, but I completely see that from the standpoint of I would much rather first draft pick than second. But then I don't know, it's I feel like it's almost a perfect situation for us because we've won enough in the last years that if we finish 18th, it's not that bad.
Yeah.
And I'm fine with finishing 18th because I don't want to say there's excuses, but we had a lot go wrong for us through the entire year, and we showed what we could do when we had a genuinely healthy side. So I was happy for 3 quarters. I completely disagree with Kane Corns. I feel like Adam Uze had the toughest role as an AFL coach for all AFL coaches. His first year has just been absolute hell, and I feel like he's been stitched up.
Just before we move on, have we seen Dusty play his last game in Richmond? I'm not saying he's going in. I'm not saying he's going to Gold Coast. Or,
I don't know.
I think he'd retire. But
I don't know. I just there's a very strong point of back problems, and then
back problem that was a 1-week injury to a 2-week to a 3-week.
And then he went to New Zealand on a plane with his back issues, playing golf. So
playing golf.
Yeah. Okay.
Interrupt.
That was
just a keen fan. What can you say?
First guess on the potty. But yeah, I honestly, every Richmond fan doesn't really mind. And people are saying that Uze needs to, fucking, stamp down on what Dusty's doing. And I reckon Uze has a bit of a clue of what's going on, which is why he's not. I reckon.
Yeah, this is stuff that they discuss every week, and there'll be phone calls every day. Like, it's not like, Uze has no idea what's going on. Dusty didn't say he was going to New Zealand. Like, the stuff that gets spoken about.
Yeah, and what's Uze going to say? No, you have to stay here. And he'll be like, mate, I'll retire tomorrow. If he retires, I'm happy. If he goes to Gold Coast, I'm happy. What he's done for the club, he can do whatever he likes. I feel like the only reason he would ever go to Gold Coast is for the relaxation of he still gets to play footy and he's got no media attention. No one really knows him. And he just gets to enjoy his life.
Gold Coast don't need him, though. That's the thing.
Yeah, I agree. But I also think that they'd be stupid not to take him.
I mean, I could see them if they took him as a coach, but it's just as a player, he's taking up that because Gold Coast right now they're fighting for finals, so they're at that point right where it's like we're pretty much there. They need one more position, but it's not a however old Dusty is 32, 33-year-old. It's someone young, 24, 25 who they can build with for the next couple of years. Dusty, because I think for one of those players, you have to rely on him to play every week and, like hold down his role and, you just get used to it. Whereas if Dusty only plays for the 12 or 13 games for the year, you're going to have to bring someone else in who's not getting that consistency and you're not having that consistency from him. He's just taking up that's, let's say forward pocket sort of role. You don't really need... Like, where does he go? Because their midfield's good enough. Their forward line's good enough.
He fits in. Like, Malcolm Roses. He can fit in Malcolm Roses' spot. Lukosius. He's in their best 22, and if you want someone that has experience in finals, which they have never touched in their life, someone that can bring spark, someone that can play away, play home, someone that can bring, like, vet experience, you would very much need him. But I can definitely see your point of view. He would have to be all in for it to be something that works, and he would have to play a genuine, like a coaching player, like a Levi Casvolt kind of role.
It's just a worry sign that he hasn't played for a couple of weeks after bad injury, I guess.
Yeah, but anyway, I guess only time will tell.
We're getting told to move on, so
yeah. Sharky
wants his airtime, as much of it as he can get. So why don't you go on, Sharky?
All right, number 1.
Geelong to Carlton, alrighty.
Why was I thinking Tom McConey? Just because they both like, yeah.
Geelong to Carlton. Trying to think.
You sure you got it right?
I always get worried when he goes straight.
I know he's searching up now. He's scared.
No, keep going.
Okay, all right. He's searched it up. He's got confirmation.
He's backing himself.
Yeah, I'm backing myself.
Okay.
Geelong to Carlton. All right, we got midfielders. Probably not. Forwards. Who have they got? Razio.
Carlton.
What's this big player that doesn't play?
Yeah.
Who's in their back line?
You did it so it had to be people that played at least one game, right?
Yeah, they've played this year.
So let's oh geez, it's a really tough one actually. See, at this point where I'm waiting for Sharky to go,
Yeah, exactly. Okay, why don't you give us a hint?
Okay, I'll give you a hint.
How many games they played this year?
They've played... I don't have this year, but they've played 41 games at Carlton.
How do you not know them this year?
Go on to AFL.
40. Just look the player up. 41 games at Carlton. How many games they play at Geelong?
They played 23 at Geelong.
Oh, so it's a known
They're
player.
a midfielder.
Right.
No, Jack Carroll didn't play at Geelong, did he?
Adam Chera. No.
If it's a midfield, it's someone who's like in and out of that midfield. Hewitt played at Sydney. Cripps, Walsh,
Kennedy.
Akers, Ollie Hollands.
Elijah Hollands played at Gold Coast. Cottrell? Matty Cottrell.
I don't think so.
He's a
Do we want more hints?
Yeah, go on, give us one more.
So they were drafted number 27 in the 2017 national draft.
Where from?
From St. Kevin's.
So Melbourne. That didn't really give me too much.
Yeah.
Well, how many games they played this year?
No, I haven't checked.
You should know this. This is your segment. Have all the information.
I have every information.
You don't have the information I'm asking, though.
Oh, God. It's just, I want more. I want more. I want more.
All right, let's say I don't know who this player is and I want to learn about them.
Okay, they played 12 matches this year.
Oh, wow. As a midfielder.
As a midfielder?
Oh, medium forward, sorry.
Oh.
Sorry, they have it on they have it on 2 different things.
Right.
They have it set to midfielder on Wikipedia, and on the Carlton page, they have it set
Williams? No, he's... no, he's new, isn't he?
12 games.
12
So,
games
played
this
more
year
games
as
than-
as a medium forward.
Jeez.
I'm just gonna start naming people in a tick.
But but if you're thinking of all the players, then like you're not thinking about this player.
Yeah, it's true.
Wait, how do you want the next tip to be formatted?
I reckon give us the initials of the bloke's name.
LF.
Fogarty, Lockie Fogarty.
Yeah.
Oh.
Actually, didn't know.
I didn't even know that bloke existed until this year, if I'm honest. Or like last year.
I didn't actually know that he played it.
Neither.
Okay. Stumped you there. That was fantastic.
Yeah, well, he doesn't really count as a player.
How doesn't he count?
Well, because you kind of only just started playing games at Carlton last year.
It
Yeah, I know
definitely
it counts, obviously, but it doesn't actually count.
All right, next one.
Jaden Hunt.
Yep. Fantastic. Tell him what it was.
It was Melbourne to Eagles, so I kind of jumped the gun there.
All right. Last one.
He picked up 35 on the weekend. That's
Yeah,
why
he
Sharky
did, yeah.
picked him.
He racked it up.
Last one.
Yep. Oleg Markov.
Yeah.
Huge shout.
Yeah. Fantastic. You got that one. What is it, Will? Though. Gotta let
It's from the Tigers to the Suns to Collingwood.
Yep. And that's all she wrote today.
Very
What
good.
about the emojis?
I think we're letting the emojis one die.
Oh.
Ah, I enjoyed the emojis.
We can ask the fans if they want the emojis one. They can reach out and let me know.
Well, you've got all their phone numbers.
You really dropped off in your making your Sharkies airtime. Only 3. We used to do like 5. We used to have some emojis.
Oh God. Okay.
Now we only do 3, and you do them about half an hour before we even start.
God. Okay. Maybe I'll have a.
Can't talk about us being the ones who.
Guys,
You're not
what
even ready.
time were we meant to start today?
We had no start time actually.
It was 3. It was
That
get here
was
3
hold
o'clock.
on.
No.
What was the timeline?
Get here 3 o'clock.
No, that was never said. What was the timeline?
Get here 3 o'clock.
No, who
It was
agreed to
3
that?
to 6.
What? Finish by 6.
It was 3 to 6.
No, actually no.
Oh, I'm not having this.
Who agreed?
Let's move on to the next
who
one.
agreed? No one agreed to be here at 3. You booked the room at 3.
Oh my God. I'm so
Right, everyone, moving on. We've got the Freo versus the D's. And Freo just stomped all over the D's here.
Domination.
Yep.
14-0 clearances.
Goody needs to be either sacked or slapped in the face for not picking a ruckman. You've drafted Fullerton for no reason if you don't want to play him.
Traded for him, not drafted.
Oh, sorry. Verrill.
Nah.
Verrill is who I
No,
was talking
I don't
about.
think Fulton should play anyway. I think they've made the better choice.
You reckon Petty's a better choice
Yeah,
than Fullerton
Petty and
or
Verrill.
Verrill?
Yes.
I disagree. Let's have a look at their hit out counts and
No, but it's not even that.
team stats.
Let's have a look at how he goes
Petty
in
had
the VFL.
6 hit outs. And Van Rooyen had 3 to Sean Darcy's 34 and Luke Jackson's 13. Absolutely dominated in the ruck. Will Verrill had 45 hit outs in the VFL,
Against a
19
bloke who had
disposals.
50.
Oh, yeah, 4, and he had 12 more disposals than him,
Yeah, I
15
think
kicks.
They're still making the right choice. Right? I don't think that you should be playing a bloke that hasn't got any. He's a 19-year-old. He hasn't really got too much experience. I think they're making the right decision.
Well, Fullerton isn't as well. You need to put in someone that's not Harry Petty. He's absolutely useless. And you see teams like Port Adelaide with Vicentini trying out him and, bringing in like Ruckmans just because you need to. Not so much that he would be a good change or a long-time fix, but Jacob Van Rooyen is a forward and you should keep him in the forward line so he can actually flourish in the forward line. And Harrison Petty's been playing out of position the entire year. Did they seriously only have 9 hit-outs for the entire game?
Yeah.
9 hit-outs to 47 hit-outs.
So the big thing comes down to they got dominating clearances 47-16. So if you think that Freo dominated that game, that's pretty good. They know they had no ruckman and no Petrarca and whatnot. But let me tell you something. West Coast still had how many was it? They still had 23 clearances themselves. The St Kilda's 31. So the team that lost by 72 points, so more than what West Coast the D's lost by, they still had about 17 more clearances than what the D's had. And the other thing I want to say is it's not that hard to... Either this shows how good of Freo's ruckmen are or how stupid, I have to say, the Melbourne boys are, because it's not that hard to sit on your bloke and follow him around if you're going to win the taps and just go to wherever he goes. If you know you're not winning the hitouts, then just follow your man and he'll lead you to the ball. It's just... I don't know. I was watching them and they weren't on their each other. They weren't on their men. Like, it's like if you're losing hitouts, you just know, all right, follow my man because he's most likely going to get the ball.
I agree, but you've also got midfielders that aren't taggers out there. They create their own.
No, but I'm not telling them to tag. I'm saying just run with him and he'll lead you to the ball. That's if you're a player who doesn't get much of the ball, you get told as a junior level, follow your man, he'll bring you to the ball. I'm not saying tag them. I'm saying run with him because when the ball gets hit to him, i.e. Brayshaw or Sarong, if you're on them, just stay on their hip and you're most likely going to get the ball. It's quite simple.
But then 47 hitouts to 9, follow them for, 38 hitouts?
Yeah, but if you stay
every
on
single
him,
hit out,
they're not going to get all those clearances.
I don't know. I agree with the fact that they need to stick closer. There were plenty of clips throughout that game of Clayton Oliver just completely sagging off and not following his man. But I feel like the difference in that game was that they were winning every single clearance because of every single hit out. And whether that's because the midfielders weren't following their man or not comes down to they didn't have a ruckman to win the taps for them. So I guess it can go both ways. If you're not going to pick a ruck, then you do have to do that. And they didn't do either. So just some big issues at Melbourne.
It also shows how bad of a player Sam Draper is just quietly.
Well, that's what I was thinking as well. Because Sam Draper
He dominated, but they didn't dominate.
all the, chance to have a legacy game almost. But didn't. And it cost them the game, actually. Completely lost. But, yeah.
And then the last game of the round, I actually fell asleep watching this game, to be honest. Like, literally fell asleep. The Blues versus North Melbourne, which ended up being quite a good one for the majority of the game until the umpire decided to make a bit of a silly decision that messed it up for North Melbourne. But wasn't as bad of a round as it usually is. And it didn't play out to 2-2 because North Melbourne aren't going to do anything special. But did North Melbourne play really good or did Carlton play really bad?
I feel like North Melbourne were really good. I don't feel like Carlton were actually that bad. North Melbourne have shown a completely different side of them this second half of the year. Just that not give up attitude that they never had, they're starting to get. And a lot of people think that the umpires was the only difference between this game. And maybe it was, maybe it wasn't, but great job from North to put up a performance like that. And also great job to Carlton for just finishing it off and getting business done, I guess.
No decoding for the rest of the year, for the rest of the not the home and away season. He's out. He'll be back for finals though. In the hospital at the moment. Not sure if he's still there, but he was there. And yeah, I don't know. It was just like I think we're really seeing the way that North Melbourne are dominating in the middle of the ground. Like that, we spoke about it a couple of weeks ago. Like that's their thing. Every team's got a thing, and their thing they've really shown that Clarko's shown is their midfield, and it's their problem when they go forward, how they struggle to score. And then the other thing is, Carlton leak a lot of goals. Their defense is something that probably needs to be worked on because they're letting teams score a lot of points against them.
Yeah, I think Wadering was a saving grace for them down the back. Just getting rid of everything. But I completely agree. I feel like Charlie Comben, that was the first time him playing down forward.
Yeah.
And he
looked really good.
He looked unreal. He kicked 3 goals and just, like, yeah, I don't know. Like, I love Charlie Coleman as a player. I think he's a great player, but I don't think he should be kicking 3 goals on his first time playing forward this year at an AFL level against the second side with all Australian defenders contending. Did McGovern play, or is he still injured?
McGovern, no, he didn't play. He's still out.
Yeah, so I guess a little bit more excuse there, but I don't know. I think Blues need to tighten up, but I feel like we will be seeing a lot more performances from North that are a lot better. So, like, if you had given me this game 10 weeks ago, I'd think, geez, like, Blues have some big problems, but I think North played an elite brand of football. So I don't really have that much to complain about for the Blues. But that moves us on to the tips for last week.
So here we go.
Yeah, so these will be different to the ones that were up on the Instagram, just because Will changed his in between. But first of all,
it wasn't so much that I changed it in between. We talked about it on the podcast.
no, you didn't. Okay, the ones that went up
We're from Mondays.
were from Monday, and then you decide, and then we had another episode that came out on Thursday
Where we redid them.
where we did a more accurate round review, and that one work for you?
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't just randomly go, oh, by the way, I'm changing my tips.
Okay, so Don's Crows.
I didn't. We literally said, let's say what team won, and I named the team that I thought won.
Anyway, we had Don's Crows. Keon had Don's because they were playing at home. Will had Crows, so Will got that one. Both of you boys had Giants, so you got that one up. Then both of you had Saints again against West Coast, so that's another one. Both of you had Hawks, so that's another tick. You both had different ones for the Bulldogs Cats games. Will, you had Dogs. Keon, you had Cats because they were playing at the Cattery. So Will got that one. Keon, you got that one wrong. Then we had Power versus Tigers. Will put Tigs, staying loyal. Keon put Power because they were playing at home. So that's Will's first loss of the round. Then we had, both of you had Lions. Both of you got that one right. Both of you had Dockers. Both of you got that one right. Both of you had Blues. Both of you got that right. So it was a pretty good round for both of you, with Keon having 7 wins out of the 9, and Will having 8 wins out of the 9.
He took the boys, actually. You admitted to it.
No. I tipped... Wait.
I'm going off about what we were just talking about.
Yeah. I originally tipped the Pies.
Yeah, he changed both of them to...
Gee, some good changes.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
there's
Good changes.
I think it needs to be checked.
Well, to be fair, you wouldn't be complaining if I had changed them and got them all wrong, you know?
Anyway, so that sets it up. So overall, we have Will with 39 wins and Keon with 32 wins.
I don't know why I'm saying this because it's just not going to help me, but have we thought of a punishment?
I don't know. I think that was Sharky's job, wasn't it?
I was a big believer that we get a paintball session in and just shoot whatever the difference is at your back.
I'm happy to be shot 15 times in the back if you get shot 5 times.
Why do I have to? No,
Because you're pigging pain for me.
I was gonna do it the original way. I was gonna do it is the bug assault.
We're not doing that.
No, but
You can buy it.
What about we go paintballing? We can hit Keon, whatever the difference is, but you have to pay for the session.
see. Anyway, we'll move on to, I think it's Keon's undercover night now.
Well, this week it's actually Keon's undercover nights.
Oh,
Plural.
double up.
We're not really a double up, more of a multiple.
Oh, jeez. A triple up.
And it goes to the Hawthorn boys. All of them.
So more than triple.
All the little boys. You know, I love the little boys because I'm a little boy. But 15 goals from them. And, I mean...
Is it Wizards' first official award?
They just do it everything that they want. No, he got the Rising Star this week, actually. And that was said last night. So
No, not that. I'm saying with us. Is that his first official
No,
award?
he got the award for shit kicking. That was his first award, actually. Oh. This is his first positive award. But... Yeah, I mean, they had, 15 goals from the little boys, and Dylan Moore didn't even kick one either. So,
That's unreal to think about.
but yeah, so I mean, if Dylan Moore's not even kicking goals, and the little boys are doing it all.
15 goals from the small forwards, and none of them were from Dylan Moore.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So they're all the undercover knights.
Perfect. And then next up, we've got.
Oh no, wait, hold up. He's not doing his job properly.
What's up
Where's the
next,
stinger?
Sharky?
Where's the stinger?
Oh, there is a stinger, isn't there?
The
Oh,
vote
it's
is
going to
not
have to load,
No, it's
isn't
the
it?
clap on our Discord because we're in person. Not.
No, isn't it the... Ah, yeah, right. Okay, well. No stinger. We'll clap for him in real life.
Good job,
Great
boys.
job, guys. Well done. Next up, we've got the Nothin but Footy Player of the Week. I don't remember this band's.
It is definitely the singer.
Are you sure?
I'm definitely sure because I remember every week we play it and I feel like it's too long.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, I don't think that's it. We might have to re-look at the sounds.
Anyways, this bloke had an unreal performance. Kind of touched on it before, but just shows that you don't need your star player to be playing. You can just take his role and do a better job than he normally does.
Mm-hmm.
And that was
Ben Keys.
with 4 Z's.
Yeah, the everywhere, the everywhere forward half everywhere man. He was everywhere in that forward half of Adelaide's ground. Won them the game off basically his own boot, and it's been a while since he got the recognition that he probably deserved.
Oh, yeah.
in the last 2 years. So shows how good of a player. It also just shows like how good. Like we speak about the difference between VFL and AFL, but even just shows you like how good he who's been playing forward pocket for most of the year can be when he goes into the midfield. Like
And
there's
he's
players that
always
can
shown
do
that. He's always shown
Yeah.
that when he goes into the midfield. He just never really had that full spot. But just the fact that he can adapt from that midfield and go, okay, like if you don't want me in the midfield, I will still show you my value in a different forward role, and plays it good enough to be still in the side, plays it well enough to be never thought of as a trade option, and just really showed his class against the Dons.
And just before we finish up, one more thing I just quickly wanted to go through was how every team has gone in the last 10 weeks. So, who's won, who's lost. So, Sydney, in the so this is everything in the last 10 weeks. They've won 6. Geelong's won 4. Essendon's won 4. The D's have won 4. GWS has won 5.
Really?
Port's won 5. Carlton's won 6. Collingwood has won 3.
Wow.
Freo's won 6. The Suns have won 4. The Dogs have won 6. The Crows have won 4. The Lions have won 8. Saints have won 4. The Hawks have won 7. West Coast have won 1. Richmond have won 1. North Melbourne's won 2. So, some big jumps being that the Dogs had only won 4 games in the first 9 games of the year. And then now they're up to the 10. Obviously, Hawthorn going 0-6. They'd only won the 3. Now they've gone with that 7. And those 2 teams are really bolstering themselves up. And then obviously Brisbane, who came from nowhere, winning 3 of their first 9 and now have won 8 of their last 10. So
Yeah.
I just wanted to add that one in. And Collingwood have lost 7 of their last 10 as well. So there's
With a not very easy fixture coming up either.
a hard one. And I've got something else that we'll talk about, but that'll be next episode. So
A bit of a cliffhanger. I
Make sure
like
you
it.
tune
yeah,
in.
make sure you tune in for that one.
Extra segment. Love to say it.
But that's enough from us today with the round review. Boys, hope you guys have a good rest of the week before I see you again. Anyone want to say anything before we finish up?
Follow up the socials. Leave some questions if you like.
Yes.
And good luck with everyone's tipping, Supercoach, and footy.